Gaming laptops have their own identity for gamers and power users, but in today's generation of gaming laptops are on a budget for just under $1,000. So hey guys, this is Norms of Norms with Tech, where we will find out the best gaming laptop under $1,000. Meet the Acer Aspire VX15. The VX15 is the baby Predator segment with some cool new features, where the packaging is simple with the VX15 name on it, and inside are the warranty and user documentations, the power brick, power cord, and the unit itself. Unveiling the unit from its sleeve is a 15.6-inch form factor, made from hard plastic on the chassis, where the brushed plastic with some unique red lines and the Aspire VX15 engravement on the silver trim makes it like a sports car design. I do like the finish, especially the build quality with no flex on the keyboard and a minor flex on the lid, making the hinge to be sturdy with opening the laptop with just one hand, giving it an excellent build quality and design quality, although the casing is a fingerprint magnet. So on to the I/O. On the left side, we have the DC power in, USB 2.0, full-size SD card reader, and the microphone headphone jack combo. On the front, there are two bottom-facing speakers and the status LED. On the right side, we have the USB 3.1 Type-C, two USB 3.0 ports, HDMI, and the LAN port. Lastly, on the back is the hinge cover and the tube ventilation. And as for the weight, this one weighs around 5.51 pounds, which is not bad, but it's a bit bulky for some people. Once opening the laptop is the 1080p IPS screen that gives a very great viewing angle, and the anti-glare gives better visibility outdoors, with a very good color accuracy for some content creators and editors. So here we go to the 720p webcam. That is really decent for Skype calls and also for video commentaries if you are going to play some games with a face cam. Although what you can tell, this one is the quality under 60Hz, and also we have two resolutions from 640 by 480 at 60fps and 1280 by 720 at 30fps, and the microphone is located below the trackpad, which is on the palm rest side. Speaking of palm rest, the keyboard is fully sized, with the power button on the upper right side. That the tactile feedback is really great. However, it's a little bit spongy to my liking, but what you can see here, it is easy to get used to with the bordered red WASD keys, making it visible for some other FPS gamers out there. And the backlit keyboard is really great but lacks more onto the visibility side and also no brightness controls, which makes this keyboard lighting either you want to turn on or off. The trackpad is huge and uses a Windows precision driver, which it performs smooth as butter when it comes to gestures and other functionalities. But this is actually impressive overall, except there should be a dedicated click pads for both left and right clicks if you are into a gaming laptop. Otherwise, use a mouse. Ergonomics is pretty decent on the palm rest area, but there are no elevations that can make the wrist a bit of strain. But if you want to get an elevated cooling pad or DIY elevation tricks, this will help the ergonomics a lot better to avoid your wrist getting strained. The VX15 has a lot of options, from a Core i5-7300HQ variant up to a Core i7-7700HQ, packed with a GTX 1050 to 1050 Ti, where the base model costs around $799, or here in the Philippines $44,300, or in concept stores $59.95. Where my model here has the Core i7-7700HQ with 4GB of RAM upgraded to 8GB, more on that later, 128GB SSD from Kingston with a 1TB Toshiba HDD, and also what we have here is the Qualcomm AC wireless module with MoMeMo capability. And as for the GPU, we have the Intel HD 630 and the GTX 1050 with 4GB of GDDR5, and I do recommend getting the GTX 1050 Ti for the best specification, and more on that on the separate video. The VX15 performance is well equipped for casual to semi-competitive gamers out there, where the GTX 1050 can handle some of the games no problem, whereas the gaming benchmark will be on a separate video also. As for the CPU, the i7-7700HQ performs great and the sweet spot for editors, CAD users, and content creators. As the SSD and HDD performance, the SSD delivers better performance in boot-up times around 15 to 25 seconds, and so far it is not that lightning fast compared to an NVMe drive, where this laptop only supports SATA 3, which is a little bit of the downside. So into the hard drive perspective, it doesn't actually give great numbers to it. It runs only at a mediocre 5400 RPM, but I do want to see a 7200 RPM option on this laptop that will give better performance. The VX15 sound system is actually really great. It has the Acer's True Harmony technology with the Dolby Audio sound on it. When it comes to the overall performance, it lacks a dedicated subwoofer, but overall the sound quality is great. But don't expect too much from what you can tell from the speakers, as the bass is balanced but not very punchy. Since it's bottom facing, it is loud and somewhere onto the better sound experience. So here are the sample sound footages. So the battery life is good in this system, where the 3-cell 52Wh battery gives better performance, where I was getting around almost 5.5 hours on power saver without the backlit keys on with 40% brightness on a simple workload. But for gaming and rendering on heavy load, will actually last you for around 1.5 hours. As for PC Mark 8, the laptop gets around 2 hours and 25 minutes of battery life. This is on normal use with the max brightness and also the keyboard backlight on, where the battery information will be on the written review of this unit. Maintenance and temperatures is a great aspect where the VX15 does not disappoint, thanks to its immersive dual fan system keeping the CPU and GPU cool individually, whereas the laptop fan speed is noticeably loud but for a fair amount. Sadly, there are no control options, but so far on idle it stays quiet with no whine noise that is present on the fan. For temperatures, from 33 to 65 degrees on idle at high performance up to full load of 65 to 85 degrees. Using IDA64 stress test gives the laptop around 65 to 90 degrees. However, there's a slight thermal throttle around 11% for the CPU, whereas it's not a huge problem where the keyboard area is usable and not too hot. For the maintenance, it is good. There are no hatch present that requires a whole bottom panel removal, whereas it's easy to upgrade all the internal components except the CPU and GPU. Overall maintenance is 3 out of 5, 1 being the easiest and 5 being the hardest. On to pricing. For $56,995, I have mentioned why I have to talk about the 4GB of RAM, because this one is not enough. When it comes to the performance, there are a lot of laptop deals that you can get with an 8GB or 16GB of RAM from benstore, Amazon, PC Corner, and many other stores. Getting the GTX 1050 Ti will be the best sweet spot for a reasonable price. So on to the bottom line. The Acer Aspire VX15 is an ideal gaming multimedia all-rounder machine for the money and best specification possible in the market today for under $1,000 or $59.95 on concept stores in the Philippines for just the i5 variant. But despite all the minor flaws like a slight thermal throttle, keyboard backlight with only 4GB of RAM and no fan controls, the VX15 have some limitations, but I do like how it was being executed as a gaming laptop that delivers or gives better options, where the GTX 1050 Ti will be the better sweet spot for the price, where Acer also offers a 2-year warranty depending on some retailers. But who is this laptop for? For content creators, gamers who are semi-competitive, even for students and home users will have these systems with them. With the IPS display and cool features, it is a cool factor for your productivity needs. But if you are a person who is into RGB lighting and also higher performance and graphics card, this will not be the laptop for you. With that being said, the VX15 gives it a highly recommended gaming laptop for 2017 seal of approval. That makes the laptop a perfect as in this review, where I will recommend getting the 8GB or 16GB variant with the GTX 1050. But if you are into the GTX 1060, I would recommend getting the Predator Helios 300 for the best sweet spot for a $1,000 gaming machine. So this ends the full review of the Acer Aspire VX15. If you want to see more of this video, go hit the thumbs up button, subscribe for more videos. There will be the gameplay footage on a separate video like I said, and the GTX 1050 variant. And with that, this is Norms and I hope to see you guys in the next one, and let's proceed to the glam footage. As I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. As I bleed for you.
to follow, like a shadow dark and cold to the touch.